one point in school where I thought I might have been a physio or something. That went out, you know. But no, I've always, because I've grown up on a farm, I suppose I've been lucky enough to see agriculture, and it's only as I've got older and as I've realised that the world's population is growing so quickly that they all need feeding, and I saw that as an opportunity. It's more of a challenge because we're going to have to increase our food production by 70% by the year 2050. Over 1 million pairs of genes we could have produced with the cotton that we grew last year. There's one cotton mill left in Australia, in Melbourne, and less than 1% of Australia's cotton is processed. So after it's been ginned, it will get packed into 227 kilogram bales, and then which will then get packed into containers, and these containers will get sent to port because the majority of Australia's cotton is exported to Southeast Asia because the price of labour is a lot cheaper than it is over here, so there are a lot more manufacturing industries over there than there are here. Well, the key messages for sustainability and the environment, I suppose, is trying to grow as much of a crop as we can, or produce as much as we can using the little amount of resources, or the least amount of resources we can to do so, and to do it as efficiently as we can. We do things like retain our stubble, and we run a limited tillage system. We allocate our resources where we can and where they're going to be best used. So cotton growing has the best return per megalitre of all the summer crops, except for sugar, but it can't be grown in our climate, so it's better than rice and corn and types of crops. So in terms of turning water, our most limited resource, into cash, it's cotton is the best, is the most efficient. Cotton used to use a lot of pesticide back 10 and 20 years prior to transgenic cotton. Transgenic cotton has a gene, the Bacillus thuringiensis gene, engineered into the crop so that which is a natural toxin found in the soil, and it's engineered into the crop so that it is it's in every cell, and when caterpillars come along and actually eat the flesh, it breaks down the stomach lining of the caterpillar and kills them. There's a lot of research that gets done in the field, especially in nanobiotics, so a researcher doesn't necessarily mean you're inside in a white coat with glasses on looking at a microscope. There's a little bit of that involved, but there's a lot of it that's actually done in the field where you're looking at phenotypes of varieties, like looking at which varieties perform the best, in these conditions and that sort of stuff. And then they're growing from those. They'll select the plants that they like, and then they'll grow a seed bank of those, and then eventually they'll be released to growers once there's enough seed, and we'll be able to grow those good varieties. The GM technology has actually been so good for the cotton industry. It's allowed us to reduce 90% of our pesticide application, meaning we're only having at most 1 or 2 pesticide applications per season, which has been fantastic for the cotton industry in terms of its environmental sustainability and its production. Also, because we are not really using pesticides, we're able to use beneficial insects to control pest insects. So, for example, we have here a ladybird eating an aphid, and so aphids are a bit like mosquitoes in humans. They transmit disease between plants, and so what we do, and they also take sap. So, because we're not spraying, we actually have these ladybirds that will come along and actually actively look for these aphids and eat them. There's a lot more spiders. We've got a lot of beneficial spiders that also that eat other forms of insects, and also wasps that lay eggs in caterpillar eggs and in live caterpillars and all sorts of stuff. Because water is one of our limiting resources, it's the most important thing to us, so we try and use as little of it as possible to produce as much as we can. Over the last 20 years, we are the most water sufficient farmers by 40% at the moment, and I think we've got 3 times the world average there. But we've also been able to halve our water use in Australia over the last 20 years by using drip irrigation. So drip is basically the same as a drip you'd use in your garden. So it's a hose that runs. We put it underground, and it's a hose that runs underground, and every 50 centimetres there's a little hole, and so that will release water. When a big pump pressurises these lines, it will release water, and you can see every 50 centimetres there's water that's soaking into the soil.